Hello, everyone, and I'm still madly typing, trying to share the links. Welcome to Silverline Silver Sunday on this October 12th, 2025. I am your host, Roland, and apparently today is all about what grinds my gears, so I'm excited to. I got a list, so we'll do that. I am joined, as always, by that man in the mask guy, Mr. Mike W. Belcher. Say hi, Mike.
Hi, everybody. How it goes on your Sunday?
Going good, going good. We color coordinated tonight, Mike.
Yeah, we're all black.
Yep, I like your shirt though. It's a cool shirt. Is I should ask Mike, is that shirt available for folks who want to wear and sport a Man in the Mask T-shirt?
This particular one isn't because it's one of my original ones that I
It's a creator
I made
shirt.
years ago. But I have a TeePublic that is that you can get all kinds of nice Man in the Mask merchandise at.
Sweet.
I may have some shirt things to tell you guys about afterwards.
That
Remind
would
me.
be good.
Ooh,
Mike,
I like
Mike, be sure you drop the link here in the comments so folks can go check that out.
that. I've got to look at it for myself.
Also, don't forget to subscribe to Mike over on Substack. I get pretty much a regular message from Mike.
Also, we should mention that Mike has a Man in the Mask Halloween special that you can get.
Yes.
Does and in fact, Tom just sent me the link, so I will.
So nice, yeah.
I will post the link here in the comments for everyone. It's a long link, so go see it.
I think you can cut it after that question mark. I think the rest of it is like some kind of referral.
It's
The
the tracking.
Yes, the tracking part. So
Yeah, that's how I get paid for when you click it. Yeah, so but leave that bit on the end, or I don't get my half a penny.
You gotta get your bit.
We are also joined by Roland hates him, Mr. Tom Mason.
It's one of the things that grinds rolling gears. Hi, everybody.
Oh, what's up, Tom?
I'm just back. I'm back from the New York Comic Con.
I was gonna say we're
me
going
neither.
to. I got pictures queued up, and we're gonna can't wait to hear a report from you.
All right.
And last but not least, we're joined by Mr. Thomas Flormani Jr., who says, "Get out of my yard."
Get out of my yard, you!
Is
What's
Roland
that?
in your yard, or are you in Roland's yard?
I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah. So yeah, gonna be a fun night tonight. I think I have some serious grinders and some not so serious grinds. I'll let you figure out which ones they are. I know Tom has a New York Comic Con report. Tommy and Mike, y'all got any kind of report for us for the week?
No, but I would be anxiously awaiting that because it seemed like there was a lot of stuff dropping down this last 4 days. So
Yeah. Tom shared a lot of information in our private chat. Thank you, Tom. I always appreciate you doing that. I appreciate that information, and I love the discussions that we have in there because sometimes we're like, yeah, I don't agree with that. But they're good and they're fun discussions because they're about comics and the industry that we love so much.
It's what's weird about it is the information that I sent, I believe, is factual to the extent that people believe it.
Right.
But there's no hard numbers to prove anything. So
There's no proof in any of it, but it's what people are rambling on about.
It feels like vibes, and the mood was good. The mood was upbeat, and people had. I've been to conventions like San Diego before, or the New York show where the mood is really down.
Yeah.
And people are just sort of, well, I hope we hang on till the end of the year. It's like,
is this the last New York Comic Con we're going to have?
You know what? Right. I'll see you next year. Well, maybe. And so, and I didn't get that from this show. What I got was a fairly upbeat version of events from people who were there. And I think that speaks a lot to enthusiasm and people being excited about comics. I don't think that necessarily means people are going to buy comics by the thousands, or that the X-Men has suddenly got a new fan who's going to buy line wide or whatever. But I think it's good, and I think what we're seeing is the kids who grew up on manga and the scholastic graphic novels are sort of looking for, well, how can I level up? Like now that I've outgrown some of that stuff.
Yeah.
Where do I go? Do I go to Deep Marvel DC? Do I go to Mad Cave? Do I go to Antarctic Press? Do I go to Dynamite? Where do I go?
Right.
And I think we're seeing a sort of a generational shift as that group ages.
I hope that's the case. I know I've said on here before, a lot of my students, particularly my campus students, because I teach online and on campus, a lot of my campus students fall in the younger age demographic. And what I have discovered is that they were less interested in Marvel and DC.
Yes.
But the reason for that was like they got all the other media, they got the cartoons, they got the movies, right? But they were super interested in the independent comics because like what's this Boom? I've never heard of Boom. What's Lumberjanes? Tell me about Lumberjanes. Image Comics, what's Image?
Right.
And Walking Dead was super, super popular for a while. It's cooled off some now, I guess, since the series isn't.
And if what people said is true, that there's a slowdown in the digital aspect of comics, but an increase in owning the physical. And
I hope that's true.
I hope that's true too, because Roland, you and I have talked about this before, is that we like to hold the stuff in our hand and read it the old-fashioned way, and then put it on our shelf, and then look at it again and take it down every couple of years and read it again, and and carry the heavy box when we move.
That's right, and then be able to do this when we we need something to show, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
So,
but the thing about it is, with you're talking about your students looking for all those indies. I think that's we worry about distribution and we worry about the stores carrying, but I think I think comic guys know about all these different indie choices, but I think the person that's walking in from manga really doesn't, and that's the one thing that indie comics have always had a problem with.
Yes,
is the awareness of us. The awareness that we're also out here and we could be just as good as the main companies.
Yeah,
and I think that we're always so used to being these isolated tribes of our own little worlds.
Yeah,
and then we kind of we if we ever could figure out how to unite together and kind of join resources, I think that's probably the next step of indie comics, is trying to figure out how do a bunch of guys that have loose affiliations maybe pool resources.
Guess what finally arrived from you, Tom?
Wow, I sent those ages ago.
So was a yellow sticker on there?
Yeah. Old address?
No, that's my correct address. It went to my son. It got forwarded to my son.
The coast?
Because it went down in near Tampa, because he got married. He submitted a change of address in his name, right? And so
the man stuff went there.
Yeah, it got forwarded to his address. I was like,
I thought it was. We've been having a lot of problems with Canada shipping right now. I think you guys are in strike again.
Yes, we are.
Oh,
yeah. So we've got a big stack of Kablam's got a big, Indie Planet's got a big old stack of stuff.
They're moving to rotating strikes, so it might be
rotating strikes.
You should look into see what that means.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know.
So
that isn't a tariff any problem kind of thing. It's just that we can't ship anything over there.
Yeah.
We're tariff or not.
Here. Let's run through the comments. Pops, David Group says, "Hey yo, what's up, Pops? We can always rely on Pops.
Pops is like Razor Ramon from the WWE.
Right.
He's like,
hey, Pops." I noticed right over here in my corner though, I don't have any thumbs ups yet. So let's get some thumbs up. Dempsey Blackman, what's up, Dempsey? Dempsey says hello, everyone. And then thanks for hanging out with us, Dempsey. He says, I prefer physical comics. Yeah, I think so. David is a Flash says, physical media will make a comeback. I just have a feeling it'll be niche and limited.
It's vibes, man. It's like a craft.
Vibes. Yeah. Thanks for hanging out with us, David. And for the comment, you guys leave comments. We'll pop them up there. Whatever you guys want to talk about. I have a list for tonight. Whatever you want to talk about. But Tom, let me share this. Tell us about New York Comic Con.
All right. So it's first of all, it's huge. It's in like 4 or 5 different sections of the main building. And
where's it located?
So it's at the Javits Center on the west side, sort of
in New York,
midtown in New York. Yeah. Yeah. Where is it? Where is that Comic Con? If only they would put the name in the name.
I know. If it was only obvious where it was.
What's NY mean?
Not your Comic Con.
So
Not your Comic Con.
so they claim 200,000 people,
Wow,
Ooh,
that's
show up.
fantastic.
which is huge. Even if they're 25% off, that's still huge.
That's
Yeah.
still
Well, so
monster.
so hold on there. So 200,000. If I'm not mistaken, wouldn't that be bigger than San Diego? In San Diego, doesn't it top out like 125, 130, something like that?
Somewhere in there, yeah. And I think they count sometimes the number of people outside who just go for the outdoor festivities and don't
Yeah.
get tickets to go inside, which could be another 5,000 people. So
200,000. That's crazy.
yeah, it's but it doesn't seem
Oh, we need to look into going next year.
it
Yeah.
doesn't seem crowded. It feels very sort of easy to manage, and Artist Alley is huge. It's basically what feels like an entire auditorium.
You got to see our
Yeah.
buddy Jose. I saw.
Yeah, we need to ask Jose what he thought about because he set up. So
Yeah.
Well, hopefully, we'll get a con report from Jose on Tuesday. So, Jose, if you're listening, actually, I'm going to send you a message.
yeah, send him a message.
He had a really good setup, and he had a really good location.
Show him then.
and-
That's great.
Yeah, and he was across, I think, from our old buddy Andrew Peepoy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
He was there. And Danny Fingeroth was there, and Janet Lee, who does graphic novels, she was there. Claremont was there.
I think I saw you. One of your
I sent a
pictures. has-
picture of him,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So, all right. So, hold on. All right. Well, hold on. Let me get to Claremont. There he is.
There, that's Claremont, and next to him is Terry Dodson.
Oh,
Joey DeQ, Joey Quesada was there.
Okay. Cool.
Joe Rubenstein was there. Just pretty much everybody in New York Comics shows up.
everybody
and-
that's still living up that way.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Even though Marvel and DC, or even though DC has moved away, there's still a vibrant New York comics scene. I saw a lot of New York guys who were just making these weird, esoteric, for lack of a better word, street comics, where it's just like they're not part of the direct market necessarily. They're not part of.
Would that be D's? No, that's Fred Van Lint.
Yeah, those are comics produced by I forget the organization, but it's
In DC.
it's it's a New York State organization. It's about making comics, but public service comics. So that's the Jack Kirby one and the Who Belongs comic, and then the
And then
the other comic.
I like this one. It says "not for kids."
Yeah, that's Ryan Dunleavy, and his stuff is great. It just makes me laugh. And then I picked up these two graphic novels. The Mario Tamaki one is a hardcover sort of gothic mystery story,
Oh, nice.
and Deepwater Creek is a bunch of kids on a boat in a lake, and there's a thing underneath.
Now, the Mariko Tamaki is she's a name that pops up frequently amongst my students in class.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember the name of the one that pops up most frequently.
Well, she's also part of the newly announced Vertigo line. Vertigo announced 10.
Really?
Vertigo announced 10 books, and she's got one of them.
So Vertigo shifting from the British Islands to the Japanese Islands.
Yeah, that's right. They just switched. They swithed islands. And you can.
Sorry, I couldn't resist.
And so the Mario Tamaki's is hardcover.
Was
And
she
people-
there?
I didn't see her.
Didn't
if she
see her.
was.
You just picked it up. Yeah.
And This Place Kills Me is from Abrams.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And Deepwater Creek, I forget where it's from, but it's from another one of the traditional books publishers, not not comics.
And this is something I think, I don't know that tonight's the night to do it, but this is something I think we ought to discuss sometime is the amount of traditional book publishers who publish comic books now, who publish graphic novels. It's not just Marvel and DC anymore. There's traditional book covers entering in the market, and they're doing a lot of stuff.
And they're doing a lot of the subject matter that traditional comics have abandoned.
Yes.
So they're doing romance, they're doing mystery, they're doing crime, they're doing some weird hybrids of westerns. They're doing
pretty much everything but superhero stuff.
Yes,
Finally,
like none of
everything else. Yeah.
What you do see in the superhero space for those publishers is some kind of kid superhero who may or may not be
Yeah.
like a superhero. It's just like a kid who dresses up and runs around the neighborhood, and so it's not really
Or vigilante kind of stuff. Where it's just some dude
right.
protecting the neighborhood rather than superhero.
Yeah, or they're more like mysteries, but the mystery is the crime solver is the kid in a cape.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so and they're more funny than they are super serious. Like Deepwater Creek looks to be fairly serious, and the kid. Is that look great?
Yeah.
You know what?
I'm watching. I'm looking at it. It's like, that might be one I'm gonna go look up because that looks like it'd be kind of cool.
I think the Mariko. I gotta look it up. The Mariko
Halloween month is
Tamaki.
kind of scary.
The title I think was "I Will Eat Your Pancreas."
Okay. Yeah. See.
It's
which feels like a Vertigo book, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah.
And also what I was seeing is that, and I was already arguing with Ulbrich about this earlier today, is that these book publishers, aren't doing the traditional mini series collected as a trade. They're just jumping right in as original graphic novels, whole story in one book. Book runs between $10 and $15 a pop.
Yep.
And
it's meant to be big,
right?
A big story,
a bookshelf book, and so they're not interested in the direct market approach, which is we're going to cover our costs with the direct market miniseries and then make our money back on the trade.
I'm wrong. It was called, the one that I see in my class a lot is it's called This One Summer.
Okay.
I forget who wrote
that, or I'll Eat Your Pancreas.
Well,
I can see where you get that mixed up.
Well, you need to write something called "I'm going to Eat Your Pancreas."
No, it already exists. I Want to Eat Your Pancreas is what it's called.
That's got to be like a vampire thing.
It is.
Like a romance vampire thing.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the writer here real quick, but I can't. It pops up all over here as anime. So, but I didn't realize this about the Mariko Tamaki. She wrote some Lumberjanes.
Yes.
For our pal Ross and Boone.
Yep.
So,
I think I'm probably wrong, but I think that's where she started.
I don't know. Let's see here. 2000 looks like to be her first book. Lumberjanes looks like 2017.
Okay.
This Cover Me was 2000, which is 2000.
Oh, she's been around a long time then. I'm just an idiot.
But it's the overnight success story, right?
Right.
Isn't that the way it works? It's like, oh, he's an overnight success. Well, yeah, but you missed all of the books that they did as an independent creator before.
It's only the first time I saw them, therefore that's when they started.
Right. Yeah.
So 200,000 people, more or less. They do really well on the crowd traffic control stuff.
They also had a picture of that.
Yeah, they put up a sign that would make Tommy proud, I think.
All right, there's
traffic control. Get in. Yeah.
Yeah. Here's a sign. Here's a sign for Tommy.
There, right there. and I gotta say that sign. That sign was respected. Like there was not people did not ignore the sign.
I think I would have snuck off with that sign just so I could.
And they have
bring it to shows.
So you say people respect this, the sign. So did they also then have a place set aside for like, hey, don't clog the aisles, but go over here and take your pictures?
They have a couple of big outdoor spaces in the atrium where you can go, and they have a couple of places where if you want to gather a bunch of heroes together for a massive group shot, they have a couple of stairwells that they use for that too.
Oh, that's cool.
And so I saw a bunch of DC cosplayers all gathered up. And if you see the Fantastic Four photo, a lot of people would gather in this area, which is wide open, but you can still easily move around on all sides.
Yeah.
And so, that guy with the Reed Richards was waving his arm around like a crazy person.
I see that. Did it retract at all?
No.
Okay.
No, but he would sort of keep it down low on the ground. And so that when he raised it and you weren't paying any attention to it because it's just this thing on the floor, and then all of a sudden he would just raise it up like he was stretching, and you'd go, wow, didn't see that coming. And then you can sort of see Darkwing Duck has just had enough. He's out of there.
Yeah.
Hey, I like the way Silver Server's up here on some kind of a platform.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
Yeah.
So that was all good, and I saw a lot of publishers. I saw a lot of indie press, book publishers. There were Korean publishers represented. There were video games, anime, traditional book publishers. Barnes and Noble had a booth, which I thought was a great idea. That was just selling books for people who were signing there. So if you wanted to meet the science fiction author John Scalzi and you forgot your book, you could run down to the Barnes and Noble booth and buy one for him to sign.
Oh, okay. So they had books for people who were there.
Yes.
Wow, that's a great idea.
Yeah, and then with the books, they would put the time and date and place of the signing. So that way, if you went there first, you could say, "Oh, I got to buy this book, and then I got to make sure I go to the signing at this time and this place."
Like a little postcard kind of thing.
Yep, sitting right on top of the books.
That's brilliant.
Now they had it super organized that way.
Yeah.
And I didn't see, it's New York. I didn't see any knife fights. Didn't see any drug deals. Didn't see any criminal.
You weren't looking.
Yeah. Did you see any homeless people that made you jump out of your shoes?
No. That was a Grand Central Station where I saw the people talking and yelling to themselves.
Okay.
But with modern technology, I couldn't tell if they were yelling at somebody. They were yelling at the air.
On the phone.
They're talking on the phone.
Talking on the phone.
Right. So it's now,
That's the way it looks now.
yeah. Nowadays, I just assume they're making a call.
Yeah.
They're checking in with their unhoused agent. And so but it was a really, really good show, I thought. And,
that's good. Now, is this one you go to every year?
Well, 2 years in a row, so I guess that makes sense. Yes.
That makes every year. Yeah.
Every year so far.
I know San Diego is on your annual annual trek list.
Yeah, like 20 years running or something like that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it is kind of nuts.
Sorry, I didn't mean to call you crazy out loud and live.
That really grinds my gears, Roland.
Right.
So right now that you've gone to both, which are you liking better, the San Diego or the
good
the
question.
not your
If you could only do one next year, which one would it be?
Well, I've done San Diego like 30 times over 40 years. So
it'd have to be San Diego.
It'd have to be San Diego.
Yeah, see, that's like a completist
that
mentality. That's a comic book mentality, isn't it?
That's right.
You're collecting, even though it's driving you crazy.
But the thing is, I see, I have a lot of East Coast friends, and they don't come to San Diego, so it's good to see.
Right.
I'm sure you guys, when you go to your conventions down south, you run into people at different cons that you haven't seen in a while. So it's like, well, do I want to see these 6 people, or do I want to see these 6 people instead? It's like,
right.
I don't know. That's a hard call.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And
well, if you continue going to both of them, there's no reason not to, right?
Right. And so I think what's weird about the New York show is that there's nothing around the exterior of the Javits Center. Like at San Diego, you can meet with somebody.
The Gaslight District area thing.
Yeah, they don't have that. You can't just leave the convention center, go get something to eat at a good restaurant, and then come back in.
Tons of cool places to go.
Yeah.
I see your comment. We'll get to you in a minute. David is the Flash says, Tom, was your latest book on sale there?
No, it was not, because my publisher was not there.
What a bummer.
But my book doesn't come out till November 18th anyway.
Look who's joining us.
Roberta.
Hey, Roberta.
Well, hi.
Just in time to tell Roland he's wrong.
I just took a bite. Yeah, I thought I'd have a second, but that's good.
Sorry.
You got to give Roland a heads up.
No, then she's gone.
Just kidding.
It's too late. You can't undo that.
That's funny. I was like, uh-oh.
Tom, there's no place to eat outside of the convention center there at the.
There is, but you got to walk a little ways.
Yeah, it's like the one I forget where it's at in the Chicago one where they always would do the Wizard show all the time. There was just like nothing around there.
Yeah, because you're out at the airport or something. And I went.
Yeah.
I remember years ago, I went to the Chicago show, and a bunch of us, I got together like a group of 6 or 8 people. We seemed to walk for like half an hour
You did.
To
You
find-
really did.
to find
it
something,
was-
and that something wasn't any good.
No, it sure wasn't. It was ended up being like a Pizza Hut or something.
I remember one of my first years at San Diego. It was me and Steven and John Drury that morning. Stephen Butler. That morning we were looking at Steven. I don't know why, but Steven and I were looking for donuts that morning before we went over. And we must have walked all over the place until John just finally said, "This is a long way to walk to get a donut."
Right. Well, that's the thing. You shouldn't be looking for specific food anyway.
No,
That's
just be lucky you find something.
Yeah,
yeah.
let's see
Mhm.
here. It said David is flash. Tom likes San Diego Comic Con because we can meet for dinner.
That's absolutely correct.
That's
And then
true.
he says, "Oh no, Agent Cub, what's up, Agent Cub?" Says, "What book, Tom? Is it a book or a comic book?"
A book.
A book.
It's my autobiography. It's my unauthorized autobiography of Ice Cream Soldier from Sergeant Rock.
So what is it though? I don't know it either.
No, it's my Lilo and Stitch graphic novel for Disney.
Mhm.
So, in other words, he's not telling us what it is.
No, it is. It's
That's
a
what he
Lilo.
just said.
It is a Lilo and Stitch graphic novel.
Yeah.
So it's 180 pages. Comes out November 18th.
Nice.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool. How come you never mentioned it to us?
It's not my
You
show.
did.
I did.
It's not your watch. It just is, I would have mentioned it. It's
Roland.
not my show either.
Roland only wants me to talk about Silverline books.
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
say
I know that, Roland.
Really grinds my
Roland,
gear.
get out of my yard. Roland.
It really grinds your gears. I'm trying to move the thing off Tommy's head now. There we go.
You can move it on mine because my
Oh, it's better down
Cosmos
at the
is
bottom.
blinking.
Now it's on. now
When
it's on Mike's shoulder.
when is the Malibu Ultraverse book tell-all book?
Uh-oh.
I'm working on that too. That's probably 2 years away.
Yeah,
Okay.
but
2
add
years.
quotes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Don't forget
Wow.
we need to add quotes.
because I've been
That's right.
What?
You didn't
Add
interview me
quotes.
yet. Not
Yeah.
that I have anything to say.
No, it's an
I
oral,
had fun. Yay.
it's an oral history of the Ultraverse. So
Yeah. Be sure you quote Tommy said, "Roland was my favorite editor."
it's
Roland was my favorite. He kept sending me stuff to do.
yeah. I've already started interviewing people. I got a half dozen interviews in the can so far.
I like
Sweet.
watching the
Nice.
hologram covers happen.
Yeah, that
Yes,
was
me
cool.
too.
That was cool.
Yeah.
I loved it when the cover proofs would come into the office
Yes.
and we would all just sort of gather because I'd never seen stuff like that before.
Right.
It was pretty neat.
Well, and you know, and that's. I mean, I say this all the time when I'm talking about Malibu. You know, Malibu was on the forefront of a lot of technological advances in comics. You know, I'm not going to say we. I don't know because I don't know who did it. I'm not going to say we created computer coloring, but we were certainly on the
I think we
pioneering.
solidified it in
Roberta.
in Photoshop
Yeah, because
because
what you
it
had,
was prior, like different programs.
Right.
Yeah.
because there was Laverne Kinzersky, who's one of the early pioneers, and Chris Chuckery, and then there was Steve Olaf at Ollie Optics. And
Yeah,
those-
he had his own software.
Those were the pioneers, but we sort of made it like a mass production
Right.
thing where a
We
group of
turned it
people
into
could
a
do it.
thing.
Yeah, let's use
Yeah, follow it.
Photoshop, and
Right.
then y'all figured out
You
how
can
to do
color
it. and- yeah.
something
Yeah.
and use it for color separation to print it with. It's like
Yeah,
seamless.
Yeah.
and you can mix and match the different software programs, and the kids, the young people who were doing all the coloring, were able to sort of teach each other, help each other,
Yeah.
and came up with their own sort of tips and tricks and shortcuts. And
Well, I
you know,
remember an awful lot of creativity happened just because of the fact that we had 8 hours a day or whatever it would be.
Yeah.
yeah,
You know, it's like, okay, try this effect, try that effect. Does this work faster? And,
Mhm.
you know, just all the trial and error. And then we'd huddle around and say, guess what I just found?
Yeah.
Fun.
and
Yeah.
there were a lot of opportunities to experiment, and with the computer coloring, you could fix your mistake or fix it. If you tried something and it didn't work, you could just erase it digitally and do it again.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So you had a ton of options.
Now Tommy just tells me instead of having to get out a big whiteout if he spills inks, he says all I need to do is a double tap.
Yeah.
3 fingers.
Mhm.
Oh, I thought you told me it was 2. It's 3 fingers.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Because in the old days, if you were coloring on blue lines or some sort of old fashioned way, if you screwed up,
Repaint
Is
it.
it?
you just you're screwed. Okay, this is blue now.
I've got one. Yeah, that's right. This is blue. I'm gonna. This is a highlight now.
It's
right.
hard. It's hard.
Well, you know when you
good
work
work.
digital for too long, when you get on a piece of paper to draw and you actually make the Control Z movement with your left hand.
Yes.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Or you see someone on paper doing this, right? Trying to zoom in.
Oh, I've done that.
It's at work, stupid. I'll have my phone sitting. It just is just a touchscreen thing. I'll have my phone sitting up by the screen, and I have YouTube playing or whatever.
Yeah.
And every now and again, I'll reach up to get past the commercial or whatever. And then every now and again, I'll touch the screen, and I'm like, the screen is not touch sensitive.
Right.
My phone is.
So I'm going to go straight to this comment. I see the several of your other comments about the show tonight, so I'm not skipping you, but I'm letting this guy go to the front of the line. Tom Honorato. I hope I got that right, Tom. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight, Tom. Says, will we be seeing Cat and Mouse 2 through 4? Tom, the answer to that is absolutely 100% yes, because they're done. Now, here's the big question. Hopefully, Tom, you're aware of everything that's been going on with Diamond. They threw a huge kink in our publishing schedule and our plan. So
they've tied up some money that needed to be
tied up a bunch of money. So they're done. The books are done. Okay. So please don't think we're gonna do it. I just can't give you exactly the when because I'm not 100% sure yet. I'm still holding on to hope of all hope that Diamond will pay us. We've signed on with Filbo Distribution. I reached out to Universal distributors. Hopefully, we can still give another shot with Lunar. I can't get. Last time I checked with Lunar, it's been several months since I checked with Lunar. So we're just in kind of that weird zone right now, Tom. Okay, he gives me a thumbs up. Okay. One thing I will hopefully ask you to do, Tom, is we do have a newsletter, an email newsletter that goes out less than I planned for it to, but but it does go out probably about every 3 or 4 weeks. My initial plan was it was every 2 weeks, but yeah, that doesn't always happen. So but do subscribe to that. It's free, doesn't cost you anything. But I always put the news on there. And Agent Cub says, did you want to crowdfund for Cat and Mouse 2 through 4? We did. Actually, that's partly how we got the money to make it happen. So they're like I said, they're done. They're finished. We just got to figure out how we're going to get those back into shops. So Tom, you get a chance, drop us a line as to where you are geographically. And maybe the comic shop that you I love this comment. Thanks, Tom. He says, I'm with you. I'll look for it. Thanks.
Yeah, and one of the options is we'll actually come to your house and let you flip through the pages. If you like and subscribe, that's what Roland will do for you.
If you come down to Disney or whatever, just stop by the house. You could just look at the book there.
That's
Roland's right there, right off the exit. It's a straight shot.
It is very true. If you're coming to Disney from anywhere not the direct East Coast, you got to pass right by my house. If you're coming from the East Coast,
and he'll meet you at the Pilot gas station and hand you your book as you drive up.
All right, so there's a couple things here you guys brought up. Was Diamond at New York Comic Con, Tom?
No, they were not. Didn't see him.
Yeah.
Why
was there a booth that was empty?
Was there an empty space?
I did see an empty hallway, and I assumed that was the Diamond booth.
That was the Diamond booth.
Yeah.
And also, Tommy brought up some news about Free Comic Book Day. Tommy.
Oh yeah.
I was hoping that one of you guys would know
Oh.
more. I forgot about what the information was. Yes,
The
apparently
The information
somebody,
is that
okay,
the
so
Universal,
Diamond,
the Universal
Diamond
distributors took
owned
it over.
Universal,
Comic
That
Book
they
Day, right?
took it up so that
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
basically
so who's got it now?
It will be
Universal.
Universal. So
I knew
hopefully
that was
next
paying
year
everything.
we'll still have a free
I
comic
think
book
he
day.
was.
Excellent,
Yeah.
excellent.
Tommy, you just posted the link yesterday.
Yeah.
Well, that was me. I
was it Mike?
Oh, that's
No.
Mike. Okay.
Universal.
Okay. I forget.
I didn't read it. What do you expect from me? I just post stuff. I don't read none of it.
All right.
You're supposed to say that when Mike's not here.
Okay. All right. Well, tonight's topic, y'all, is what grinds Roland's gears. And I really had to take a turn because everyone else said that since they had to go, I had to take a turn. Agent Cub says, what grinds Roland gears? It's me, isn't it? Well, Keith Campbell. Keith says, grinding Roland's gears since 1985. Wow, Keith. Nice of you to hang out with us tonight. I do have a list. Keith, you're not on it. Although I could add some stuff if you want me to.
Agent Cub is no hyper potato.
I didn't believe there was
Agent
a
Cub,
list, but it's there.
There is a list. I do have a list. Yep.
Right. It's a grocery
Let's
list.
see. Victor Du says, "What's good, Silverline crew?
Hey,
Good to
Hey,
see you, Vic."
Victor.
And then he says, "I switched from Facebook."
That's good.
Let's see here. Then there's Tom. Oh, look at this. Stephen Butler just jumped on because Tommy sent me the link. We'll have to go back and watch the rest of it later. Sure did have a good time last week.
Aw.
Steven already told us he's coming back for part 2. Plus, we've got he and Lily coming on.
November or sometime.
Yeah, I don't have my calendar up, so I'm trying to get it up real quick.
They're coming back November
The 16th, November the 16th is when Steven and Lily will both be on to talk about Duo Publishing.
Which is their thing.
Yes, it's their thing. So we'll hear all about that then. Okay, so what grinds my gears?
Do the number one thing so I can fix my thing.
All right. It's not my number one thing, but what grinds my gears? Tommy's background. Tommy's background. Look at this. Tommy always jumps on here with this background, and you can't see. He disappears, right? So Tommy, fix that background, will you? Yeah, Tommy's always trying to hold books up and show us books, and he's always doing this right here, and it's like, Tommy, come on, dude. You've got the technology, fix it. Now you can even zoom in. That's kind of scary, Tommy.
Tommy's got all the good stuff. I don't have that.
So what's better,
either.
the actual real version of that same background or the digital one?
No.
Yeah,
no
the real
digital.
one.
The real one.
Real version.
Yes,
The real one works great.
Yes.
The digital
Okay,
version
alright,
looks like
fine.
you're about to transport somewhere.
Yes. Yeah. So that's
But now my head looks like it's a big old pumpkin head. Just
Well,
like
Well,
Yeah,
that's not technology's fault.
All
All right. So the first thing on my list of things that really bother me, we live in Florida. Tommy and I live in Florida, and it rains a lot down here. And I don't know what it is about people who want to drive with their flashers on.
Oh,
It's like every time I see these flashers, that I'm starting to slam on my brakes because flashers mean someone is stopped, and these people want to drive with their flashers on, and I'm like, why are you doing that?
well, the cops will pull you over if it's raining and you have your flashers on.
Yeah, why do they do that?
Because they're idiots. They're idiots. I don't know why. So you're driving, and my pathway a lot of times is, 3 lanes and then 2 lanes to work. So when it's driving, you see someone driving in the fast lane with their flashers on. You're like,
Yeah. They're not being very safe.
No.
They're going 80 miles an hour with their flashers
Are they pretending
on
they're cops?
in a monsoon.
no, they're just like, I think they're doing it because they think it's the safe thing to do in the rain, but it's not.
Are they insecurely slow or prone to hit their brakes, maybe?
It's,
I'm just
think,
wondering what it is.
I didn't notice this until we moved down here to Florida. I think it's just because people don't know where they're going. They're on vacation. They're in rental cars that they're not used to. I can't believe that they would do this back at the house. What do they do in Canada, Mr. Tom?
Not with their flashers on. People
Not
do
the
drive.
flashers. Yeah, no,
They drive with their headlights on when the weather gets bad.
Well, you're supposed to.
Well, yeah.
Which I understand that, but not the flashing thing. That's new to me.
Yeah. No, they'll have them on the emergency hazard lights.
Yeah.
You get run over in Kentucky if you do that.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like I don't understand why it is. Now again, if you're pulled off over on the side on the shoulder and you're changing your tire,
yeah,
right.
Yeah, your flashers should be on, right? That's when they should be on. Because when I see them on, I'm going, oh no, you're stopped, and I'm going to get over. But
and you could be getting over into the oncoming traffic.
Right.
Yeah, you're making me do something dangerous to try to avoid your thing.
Okay, now David, I know who this is, but I don't understand your comment. When did Roland become Jerry Seinfeld?
Because Jerry Seinfeld has these little things like, why does the shopping cart have one bad wheel?
One bad wheel, and the other ones are good.
What's the deal with airplane food? And
I hate that too.
What's the deal with the headlights on cars these days?
I hate when somebody the headlights on the cars, one of them's pointing up. Right?
Why
coming at you like this, right? You're like, what are you doing with your lights, right? One of them's up.
Mm-hmm.
Why is the bus so crowded?
Okay.
All right. So that was a driving one. We're gonna blow through my list really fast.
You two are both driving guys. You and Tommy. You both have driving issues.
Well, Roland's okay with parking backwards. We can go back into that.
I am.
I'm okay with parking backwards.
Matter of fact, we went to where did we go? Where did BJ and I went? We went somewhere.
How much traffic did you cause? Did you put your hazards on when you parked backwards?
She was driving though. She pulled up in the lane and in the parking lot, and the one in front of her was open. Right? I said, just pull forward. Just pull forward. That way, if Tommy sees us, he's gonna think you backed in.
Can you take a picture and send it to him?
Yeah, what everybody doesn't know is that I send pictures to our group chat of my neighbors where I work, because they're all of those guys are always parked backwards. There'll be like 7 cars backwards, and mine and Barry's parked the right direction, and everybody else is in the wrong direction.
You never know when there's going to be a woodworking emergency, and you're going to have to pull out fast.
Oh,
right.
Yeah, something bad just occurred in my head. I'm not going to say it.
All right. So you know what grinds my gears?
Is it a shopping cart with a wobbly wheel?
Well, there's that too. But writers who don't actually read. I in my class, it is not infrequently that students, and of course you got to remember, y'all, I teach a creative writing class in a creative writing program. Every single student that I have, bar none, are there for a creative writing degree. They're not there for anything else. No one else can take my class except for those who are in the creative writing program.
Mm-hmm.
It is not unusual that I get a student come through and say, I want to be a writer, but I don't read anything.
Okay.
What is the reason? Do you know?
I don't know. I don't know the reason. But I can tell you.
I know what it is. It's this.
Well, that may be that. But what I usually tell them, and Tom, back me up on this, what I usually tell them ticks them off. Because the minute because I usually will ask them, well, you don't read anything, or do you just read, do you read stuff on your phone, or do you read, I do TikTok and,
what is a video? You're watching a video.
That is not it.
No, it's like, no, I don't really read. And I'm like, then I tell them this. I said, well, then be prepared to fail. And they're like, what? What?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean? What do you mean be prepared to fail? And I'm like,
because the work is going to suck. That's why. There's nobody. It's just like, I want to draw for a living, but I don't want to study anatomy. And I don't want to look at art books. I don't want to take any art classes. I just want to draw for a living. And it's like, no, you can't do that, because the way it works is you start you start reading, and then you get a bunch of ideas, and you think, well, I want to start writing based on the ideas that I got in my head, and then it's like, well, how did this person do it versus how did that person do it versus how this person do it, and that's how you can teach yourself to write based on what you've read. You're not copying stuff; you're just influenced by stuff.
Yeah.
Well, you're learning the structure of communication.
Yeah. How did they get me to cry in 6 words?
Right.
And that's it. You just take that that's a lesson. And then same thing with art. You start by. We talked to Stephen Butler last week. Stephen said, I started out by tracing when I was a kid, and then I started drawing. From copying from what I saw, and then I started drawing my own stuff, which was then terrible. But then you put in your 1,000 hours or whatever, and you just get better and better and better, and pretty soon you're creating your own characters.
That's right.
And it's a process. It's just like going to college for you don't say I want to graduate from college, but that's 4 years is too much.
Right.
They might say that these days.
Yeah, I guess they would. Right. I only want to read books that are 60 pages. I don't want to go, they don't go anything too deep. And I think it's wrong-headed. And what it means is that there are going to be some good writers coming along and a lot of really bad writers.
Yeah. Yeah.
And nobody's going to read the bad writers.
And the poor editors have to look through it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can tell. I think, and Roland backed me up on this. You can generally tell if somebody's a terrible writer by about the second or third page.
The first or second paragraph will tell you.
Yeah, but if you stick it out, then that'll just double confirm that it's like, okay,
right,
this one's out.
Yeah, 100%. You can tell. David is a Flash has a good question. He says, has AI changed the reading game?
Oh yeah.
You think it's changed the reading game?
We know it's changed the writing part.
Yeah.
Well, they do summaries. They do, different types of summaries.
Y'all, it's getting really hard in my class to tell what's AI and what's not.
Right.
Sometimes, so when the students just go and enter in AI and just cut and paste, 99.9% of the time I can tell that because I recognize the AI attributes. Right. AI does certain things and I recognize those. But those students who take the AI, and I shouldn't be giving away the secrets here, who take the AI, drop it into a Microsoft Word file, delete all the AI stuff and doctor it up a little bit, maybe change a few words here and there and drop it in. It is super hard to tell what's written by a human being and what's written by AI.
Well, except when the paragraph has 6 fingers.
But now that's in art, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even doing that much anymore. It's figured out how to.
No, it still can't do 3 faces.
No.
You ask for 3 characters, you can't get them.
Right.
Yeah. It is funny often because there will be things AI. I mean, there's other things, right? I will see that AI has said something, and I'm like, where did that come from? That's not in anything that I assigned you. That is not in any of the reading I gave you. That is not in any of the lectures. This is AI. You're making this stuff up.
No, I am not.
Right.
So what do you think? What do you think that something like Audible is doing where the robot reads the book to somebody?
It's terrible.
Do you think that's having an effect on people who want to sit and read a book and disappear into the story?
I honestly believe that Audible has had an effect on the number of people reading. I think we talked about this on the show some, or maybe it was just a private conversation. I can't remember. But when people say, "Oh, I read 3 books this past month,"
Yeah, I know people that count that as reading,
and it's not. And listen,
Here's a difficulty though. It's like the plot, the voice of the author.
Yes,
that's it.
Well, and I support Audible books. Don't get me wrong. So it could, because if you're in your car driving, man, pop a novel in there and listen to that. Absolutely, 100%. But don't count that as something you read because you didn't read it. You listened to it.
Well, I still listen to some audiobooks, and then I'll say that I listen to that book. I listen to somebody else read that book to me.
Right.
Because I just don't want to come off as being a poser saying that I read the thing because I'm slow. I'm a slow reader. I can't read, obviously.
I use Audible all the time with things that I have in my library that I don't even know where they are, if I got rid of them or what. But I want to reread it and I can't reread it. So I get an Audible and I'm I enjoy it again.
I think if you want to be a writer, though, you have to look at the page,
I agree.
and you have to be able to go back. It's like when you look at a comic and you come to a place that you really like and you want to see how the writer did it, and then how the artist interpreted it, and how the lettering, pulled you through it, and how the coloring, set the mood, and you after you read it, you want to go back and figure out how the hell did they do that?
Yeah.
And I think you can't do that with, listen, have the Audible book read to you, have the robot talk to you, or whatever.
Yeah.
But if you want to be a writer, you should delve into the book itself.
Yeah.
Because you need to know how the words look on the page. You need to know how they interact with each other on the page. So
and sometimes they make it special, right?
man.
You'll put a quote in there, and the quote's really styled strangely, and it's a visual and an emotional impact that you can't get.
If you read stuff like Cormac McCarthy, he has a whole style where he chops the paragraphs up, and they're basically like no quotation marks, and it's formatted in a way that creates tension as you read it and as you look at the page or whatever. That doesn't come across necessarily in an Audible reading effect. And so
I have made the argument before that we don't think of them that way, but that novels are visual because, and I don't have a novel.
But they're my visual.
But so here's part of what I mean too. So right, if you open them up, you mentioned like Cormac McCarthy, right? He chops them up. You can see the size of the paragraphs. You can see the dialogue, right? You can look without reading the words. You can look and see. You can get a sense. Okay, we're moving faster here, right? Oh, okay, we're slowing down a little bit, right? It's visual without being visual.
Yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not reading the novel, how are you going to be able to skip paragraphs because you're going to okay, he's just rambling.
I'm at the dull parts now.
Yeah,
heaven forbid you fall asleep in the middle of your book.
You have to listen to everything, and you're like, I see why this Lord of the Rings thing's why he skipped all of this stuff because
don't tell me
describing water. I know what water looks like. I don't need a chapter to tell me that the water is brown. I know what it is. I know what water is.
It's special water. It's fantasy water. It's elf water.
I think I told y'all before, BJ, when we were talking one point in time, we were talking about, I can't remember, it was this book I was trying to get her to read or whatever. And I asked her something about it. And I said, well, did you read that part? She goes, no, I skipped all that. I said, why? She goes, because that's the boring parts. She goes, that's just all the description of stuff. That's the boring parts. I don't want to read
I already got it. I already know what the guy looks like. You don't have to describe him.
Speed it up. Give me.
Right? Speaking of speed it up, we'll get there. Dipsy said, absolutely wild that writers don't read in today's world. Dipsy, it's true, and I'd be willing to bet some of your because Dempsey was he's a graduate of our writing program. I'd be willing to bet some of your colleagues. Agent Cub says, I was drawing a book that I had to quit because the writing was too bad. I couldn't take the torture anymore.
Oh boy!
Oh no! Well, Agent Cub, why didn't you read it before accepting it?
I don't like to read.
I got a job. I'm just going to start page 1. Start drawing.
Let's see.
David is a Flash says to Tom, talking about the listening. Yes, because people listen at 1.5 speed and won't get the nuance.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I agree with that. David is a smart guy.
I kind of disagree with that, actually.
Really?
You think you still get the nuance?
Because the audience, I don't know, the audio performers are different speeds. They don't all speak and dramatically in the same fashion. Some people talk slower. And I've noticed that there are some books that sound better at 1.5.
Are more entertaining because they put a little bit of acting into their vocal performance.
Right.
Yeah.
And also if it's a reader, if it's a human reader, then you get some of that inflection.
It's acting.
You don't. Yeah, it's acting. It's voice acting, and you don't get that as much or at all with a computer.
Well, now that the voice actors are being replaced by the robot, we're in that rough stage where the robot just said it was a dark and stormy night.
Right. Night. Agent Cub says it was a gig and I didn't have the full script at the time. Yeah, okay,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What else you got?
What else I got?
Don't skip anything.
No. I'm marking them out as I do them.
Roland doesn't like to read. He doesn't like to read lists.
He's not
So
reading.
I don't. Yeah. So one of the things that bothers me, comics that are full of errors.
What do you mean by
And
that?
I don't mean just one or two little. I mean
mean
chock
spelling
full of
or-
yes. Well, spelling and yeah, mostly words.
But you're not talking about stuff that
No, I'm
just
saying
doesn't look the way that you would want a comic to
No.
look.
I'm not talking about art styles. I mean, if that were the case, we would talk about manga. But just because I'm not a huge fan of the style, but I can recognize that someone like Junji Ito is a fabulous artist. I don't know if y'all know who Junji Ito is, but
He's the guy that does the horrific stuff.
yes,
right?
the horror stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've read a couple of his works, and I'm like, okay, whatever. But the artwork is beautiful in it. It's just it's not for me. But no, that's I'm talking about. You sit down to read, and there's spelling errors and grammar errors and
Panels in the wrong order, things that are just
yeah, I mean, there's that too. That they don't know how to make your eye move,
All the story.
on the page, and
But I think the one that bothers me the most is when for whatever reason, where the artist put the characters in the wrong order of speaking, and
Yes.
the word balloon has to go all the way
the
around.
ones that point around that go out.
Oh,
the
yeah,
panel, pull
yeah.
around the
'Cause
side, pull around the other.
Because then the balloon pointer has to make that circular loop and cover up the artwork, and then you have to
Yeah, I hate pointers.
your
that
eye has to
jump
sort of
over
follow
other
it
pointers.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Mike's like, oh, I'm having flashbacks.
Right.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
big time.
I think, and that comes from writers not understanding the writing, and
Yes.
because it's very simple to reformat that. You write the paragraph in the way that the person who speaks first is the first person you describe,
Yes.
and then you go through, and that's a basic right. It's a writer's flaw essentially. It's
You know, and if the writer didn't get that through to the artist and the artist drew it wrong, and then it comes back to the writer to put the dialogue in it, you just can't jump over stuff. You just have to rewrite what it is
Rewrite it.
to make it read right.
Write it.
Flip,
Mhm.
switch
You
the
gotta do
dialogue,
something.
and
maybe you can flip the panel.
Yeah.
Maybe it won't
Mhm.
matter.
Yeah.
Especially
but still, I think that, and it's a glaring thing that you notice even before you read it, because you see it. If I see a long word balloon that's going in some sort of weird highway,
you're like,
pattern,
oh boy.
okay,
Yeah.
these people don't know what they're doing, or somebody
No.
messed up.
Mhm.
Well, again, I mean, heck, at Malibu, we had the resources, right? We had the resources.
Yeah.
We had editors, we had assistant editors, we had proofreaders, and even then, mistakes still happen and things get by. That's not what I'm saying, right? What I'm saying is that when they're full of errors, on every single page there's an error, and you just have to say, did no one proofread this? Right?
Likely.
I'm not saying you got to go out and pay hundreds of dollars for an editor, but call up your if you're not in English grammar, but call up your buddies and say, hey man, can you proofread this for me?
Well, because that's the thing too. I noticed, and Roland Silverline does this too, is that you've got a team of 6 or 8 people who are
Yes, I do.
who are like, okay, this is going to go to the printer in 2 days. Anybody want to read it?
Yep.
And you'll get 3 or 4 people who just say, okay, I got 20 minutes, I can read it.
Yep.
And comment, and I'll bet you that people find different things.
They do. Yep.
And so I think it's you have to have a team of people who are not familiar with the book that can help you down the line proofread it and finagle things.
And the funny thing is, right? Like you said, we can have 3 or 4 people read it. The funny thing is sometimes there's a mistake that gets by everybody but one person.
Yes.
And you're like, how did I not see that? How did
Yes.
how did Tom Mason not see this mistake?
Right?
Right?
But it happens. It happens a lot.
But it's one of those things you just go, the more eyes you can get on it, the better off you are, I think.
Yeah, because I've had people in because the way comics used to work, it was the script and then pencils and then inks and then letter and then color.
Yeah.
I've had people at each stage in a script come back to me and go, as the editor, and go, what what is this? What am I supposed to do here? And even the letterer especially, who is putting in the balloons, going, it will call me and say, this ain't gonna work. and,
Right.
and I'm not the kind of editor who will just say, well, make it work.
Right.
Don't. It's like, well, is there? I go back to the letter and say, okay, do you have a fix that you think you could do that would make this make sense without doing the weird word balloons? And sometimes they'll just say no, and it's like, okay, well then I got to figure out something else before we go. So hold on to that page, and I'll get back to you. And then and usually it just means I got to go back to the writer and say, okay, here's the deal.
We got to fix it. Yeah.
You got to fix it, and you're going to figure out a way to swap those balloons and still make the story make sense.
Yeah. So we don't have cross sabers.
And then if that doesn't work, then I'm going to send them back the page, a photocopy of it with the balloons where they're going to be placed.
Fix this.
Yeah, fix this.
Rewrite it.
Also, you've got 35 words in one balloon in one panel. It's like, no, you don't. This is, Don McGregor can do that. Chris Claremont can do that, but you're not going to do that.
Yeah, you're just going to turn people off.
And here you have two choices. One is you have 24 hours to cut your words, or I'm going to have to do it for you.
Right. Yeah.
And I'll make the decision, right? And
and most of them.
That's the great editorial power there. Yeah.
Right. But I'm not going to be mean about it. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to go back.
You're not going to ruin it. You're just going to need to fix it.
We're on a clock.
I'm on the clock.
We're on a clock. Here's your window. Fix it, or I have to do it for you.
And that's the thing too, is that comics are a very fast medium in many respects, and so you can't dilly dally with this kind of stuff. It's like if you want to be a writer, it's like, well, I only write when I'm inspired, so it takes me 6 months to write a comic. It's like, okay, well, I've got 24 hours to get this to the printer and get this to the next stage. So either you fix your own work, or I'm going to do it for you.
Right.
Yeah, because this is going to press tomorrow.
Yeah, because when it gets down to the wire like that, we're as close to the ER as you're going to get.
Right. Yeah.
We got to get this thing moving.
You're a one-man show. What do you do for editing? How do you edit your work?
Oh, family. It goes to Aiden. It goes to Aiden first.
Oh, cool. Good.
And then he's straight arrow with me. He'll say, Dad, you're missing this, or the only thing I saw, and then I give it to Carrie, and she gives me that kind of unrelated thing. She looks at it from another point of view.
Right.
Yeah.
And they'll both give me, luckily they don't give me a whole lot of battering, but they at least give it a good look. They give it a good look for me, because they know how important it is for me that somebody else sees it.
Now, I don't know if he's listening, and if he is, I'm know that I'm saying this with a big amount of love here, Eric. One of our regular proofreaders is Eric Sims, and man, Eric is always he catches the mistakes, right? But he's always finding comma here, comma there. And of course, and I got to go back and look at it. Oh, do I want a comma there? And he's approaching it for purely a grammar. He sees that and he's like, oh, well, you got to have the comma right before the and. And I'm like, yeah, but do I want, it's the writer in me. Yeah, but do I want that pause there or no? But here's the thing. I appreciate that he lists everything he sees, because then I can go in and say, you know what, I see what you're saying, but I'm not going to add that comma in. However, where I misspelled this word over here, I'm going to fix that.
Right. Well, because sometimes with a character, you want that run-on sentence, because they're speaking quickly without a breath, and that's part of the emphasis of the story.
Yes. Right. Yeah.
And so you're gonna ignore the rules of grammar in order to make that happen.
Yes. Especially when it's in dialogue, right? If the characters are speaking, then you can ignore some of those rules that we've had hammered in.
Right.
So yeah.
And also, if I put a comma in there, then the letter is going to have to move that word that next word slightly over, and it's going to touch the border, and then I'm going to have a whole new problem.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And then suddenly now the word's right next to the balloon, and I'm like,
right.
Just maybe missing a comma in this one. We're not worried about it.
Right.
Yeah. So that bothers me, and and I get the thing is too. You guys know, most of my comic book consumption is in independent comics. So I don't read a lot of brand new Marvel or DC stuff. Independent comics from the lowest independent comics to to Boom and IDW and things like that. So So this is just to for those who aren't sure what my reading consumption is. That's where I'm coming from for a lot of that. But most of the mistakes I see are from like crowdfunded comics.
Right, because they're basically the younger, less experienced people.
Yeah.
And so I can cut them slack. However,
yes,
the mistake is still there.
Yeah, I can cut them some slack, but at some point you do have to say, look, you have to be smart enough to get someone to proofread this for you.
Right.
Right. I mean, I get, again, a mistake is a mistake. And I can't think of any mistakes. Oh, I can actually think of a name that I got wrong in one of our books. I can't think of any mistakes that we've had. I'm sure there's something there. But
that's why Tom buys 2 copies of everything, so that way he can have one to keep, and the other one he scribbles in, and then he mails it to the creator.
Mails it back to us.
What
were you thinking? How could you do this? What are you, some kind of moron?
Yeah.
But I remember just to make everybody feel good. I remember that I was working on an issue of a comic called Planet of the Apes, and the artist had left me a background that was the same, and I was supposed to, and I said, look, I'll just photocopy it and I'll put it from one panel to the next. Right. And I forgot to do that. Nope. and nobody, I had one job, and I forgot to do it, and it came out, it went to print like that way. It printed that way, and then the writer called me up and said, you said you were going to do that, weren't you? And it's like, you know. It's already
right. Yeah, I'm gonna tell everybody it was your fault.
Yeah,
don't worry.
Yeah, you know, and again, mistakes happen. That's it is what it is. One of the things that I do like about our new digital age is that if you make a mistake, it's this easy to fix, and somebody like Tommy, I can just say, hey Tommy, page 3 has a mistake. Here's my new corrected page, and then all the other future printings will be fixed.
Well, because in the old days, you'd have to mail the page back to the creator. Yep. And that would take a day, and then they'd have to mail it back to you, and that would take a day, and you're 48 to 72 hours behind schedule.
Roland could now we don't do this for everybody. Roland could say, "This something was spelled wrong. Can you grab a letter off of one other panel and just slide it and stick it over the other one?" I'm like, yeah. I think I did that for Barb on some of the goodies.
Hey, honey, it's Roland again. He wants you to move an E.
Yeah, can you fix that? Another weird thing that we see, and luckily because of the digital stuff, we don't see nearly as much of it. But like when you would see a double page spread get messed up, and nobody would catch it, and it would still go to print, and it would still print on the wrong thing. I don't see that so much happening in the Marvel DC stuff, but they don't usually do a lot of double page spreads. Oh, y'all have had some.
Oh, I did it. I did it to Roland.
Yeah, you see that every now and again. Maybe once a year or so.
You're gonna see it again pretty soon.
Oh. Yeah, we've got a way when we're looking at the screen over at Kablam before we print everything, we eyeball it and we try to catch those double page. Sometimes they're hard to see. Sometimes the double pages don't look like double pages.
Right.
But the way that we pull the pages on the screen, we can see pages that marry up against each other, and we can kind of tell. Sometimes you don't, though.
Yeah.
At least 2 or 3 times a week, we're telling creators that send us books to print that you've got to fix these pages. Or we're just going to print them wrong.
Here's another thing. Agent Cub, guess what? He says, I hate double page spreads in perfect bound.
Yeah,
books.
they don't work. Yeah.
They don't work. No, because it gets messed up. You really got to think harder when it all gets put into a tray, because it's not necessarily all the pages are in the same spot that they were.
Well, there's two problems with this one, right? So this is and keep in mind, people, you're paying attention. This is an early book of mine. I have learned since then. But what I did is I put a double page spread, right, and then I put a single page, and then another double page spread.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I had to do? I had to put in a page of sketches.
But the sketches just
fill up the space.
So it would push it over to where it needed to go.
Yeah, because otherwise this double page spread would have been right
part on this and then
here.
the flip.
You should have.
And that doesn't work.
You should have just written a "Meanwhile in Elsewhere" page.
Put an ad.
Well, so here's the problem for artists for double page spreads. So, Stephen, once you listen to this in the replay,
I know what you're going to say.
I love you, brother. I love you. But look, you put the
subject
guy's
right
head.
in the middle. In the
Put
gutter.
God's head right
in the
middle,
gutter.
right
Oh
in the
yeah,
crack.
people
Like,
putting dialogue.
you
are
didn't see
important.
his
No, I hate-
face, right?
I hate double page spreads for all these reasons.
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
think even if you do everything right, if the book is thick enough, it still gets weird.
No, it
Yeah, this
messes
one
up. And
works.
trades
This
even
one
get
works,
trades
right?
are even worse. You
Yeah.
know, a floppy is okay. You know, 24 page floppy, you can we've got stuff designed where it fixes the doubles.
Yeah,
But
this
you get
works,
a trade
right?
that's 200 pages and it's thick and everything's
Yeah.
just jammed.
No.
No,
Yeah.
nope. In dialogue, you get people that do it, and we're reading it like this is important information
Also-
for their comic, and you can't read that when it's jammed.
Also,
in
I think some of the power of the double page spread is lost in the trade. Like when you see it in that Jack Kirby floppy from the 70s, like New Gods or Demon or Commandy or whatever, and you turn that comic book page, it's there. And
it opens
it
up.
comes
It's
right
like,
out at you.
wow, look at
When you see it in a trade and you have to sort of hold it open with both hands and
You're
you
like,
know
'cause you don't want to open it all the way
Right.
because you know as soon as you do, you're gonna crack
gonna
that
crack
spine.
it.
and
the
then
spine is
book
going to break,
wrong.
and you're trying to get close to see what's in the center of the gutter there. It's like,
Oh, look at that!
what am I missing? Oh, look, there's that
So-
demon character.
So, Tommy and Roberta, what are y'all trying to tell me?
We're trying.
No,
it's
okay.
just fine.
didn't,
But it's just fine.
Nothing crossed over.
Because
I mean,
his
that's
arm
okay.
is
Right,
it.
and there's nothing important in the gutter.
Yeah.
No, nothing.
Yeah.
Now, if
I
his
thought
head
that was
would've
an
been halfway
example of
through-
well done.
Oh, okay. Very good. Very good.
Wait a minute. I didn't open it up again. Did you do the word balloon crosses over?
No.
No, see, you didn't
No.
even have a word balloon crossover. You did good.
I thought it was
Pass.
great.
It's almost like Roland's done this before.
As long as people that are doing the double spread understand that they're two separate pages, and so you put the meat and the potatoes in the center of both pages, you're gonna be fine. You can pull it off because the Burns and the Kirbys and the whatever, they knew where they were putting those
Right.
double page spreads, but they also knew that still the center of attention needs to be on each of those pages. And you put anything in that gutter, you're going to completely lose your audience.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah, I think that we're on the printing side of things. I think we're seeing less and less double page spreads coming.
Yeah.
But I think that's a digital thing, not a.
Oh, that's
print
true
thing.
because people are used. Yeah, because you can't do a double page
Also-
spread in a digital book,
Yeah.
which
in
does
the-
make on our Indie Planet side
But
when we're
people
selling
do
stuff.
anyway.
Yeah,
They just make
the
it
double
wide.
pages are digital books.
Sometimes
Are,
it goes that way. You'll
Yeah.
Also-
read and then there'll be a wide 2-pager and then
Yeah.
it's odd.
Also, in the old days of Big Boy Comics, when the company would provide art boards to the artist, they were clearly marked, like
Yeah.
where the border is, where the gutter
Yeah.
is, where the pages line up for double page
Yeah.
spread. It's like if you put, it almost says it in the light blue lettering.
it does.
If you put
Yeah.
something here, you're screwed.
So
Yeah.
I
Do
got
not put anything here.
two notes for you on that, Tom. The first one is, we print the overwhelming number of our books at Kablam, right?
Yes.
Kablam provides a template. Mr. Belcher down here created a Silverline page template based off of the Kablam
Mhm.
template. So
See?
we have that. We have where your live art should go to, where your
Yeah.
text should be. We have all of that
And
I will send to every artist that works with us.
And I think a number of indie publishers don't necessarily have that.
I
Like
know.
They don't know
I'm
where
sure,
to.
I'm
where
sure
to
Boom
stake
does. I'm sure
area.
Dynamite does. I'm sure that does. But I'm sure the kind of Kickstarter books that you're seeing from high school and college kids, they don't necessarily have that.
Yeah. Well, the first thing I ask a new lettering client is who you printing with, and they ask,
Yeah.
what's that
Right.
got to do with anything? It's like, well,
Well, that's
You'd be
everything.
surprised.
You
I
need to
kind of
know.
need to know what the template is so that I don't go
Yeah.
over the bleed or I don't go over the cut. You got to
Yeah.
give me an idea of what I'm doing. Oh, well, can you just do something until we can tell you who we're printing with? It's like, I'm not redoing it.
Yeah.
No.
You
Right.
tell me. I said, I can tell you, I know Kablams, I know a couple other ones, but you got to tell me somebody. If you don't tell me anybody, I can't start your job.
Also, you can't really trust a client that doesn't have a printer already lined up.
Exactly.
It's like you
Mhm.
should. That's one of that's a basic thing that you should have figured out already.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to open this so I can show it because I think Mike did a dandy job. Now I've got a Photoshop stuck screen. There it goes.
It's,
It won't
blue wall
look.
of death.
It won't look super. What'd I do? Okay. Share screen.
Do you want to call your son again?
No. window, share that.
He's in another city anyway.
Yeah.
That's right. He just gets Roland's mail.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, see that looks like artboard, but with all the proper stuff put in digitally.
Yeah.
That's great. Mike did a great job.
I mean, you got to go by a template. Whether you're working purely digital or not, you still have to know what basic.
Yes.
Especially if it's going for print. I mean, you have to have some basic knowledge of how these pages are going to be laid out and how they need to be set up when they're being colored, when they're being lettered. I mean, it just
have
makes
to
sense.
know it.
You need to know that full bleed means full bleed, not stop where you think it's going to get trimmed. That's an issue.
Yeah.
I saw
Brian Thomas's gears about printing. We can talk about this. Don't stop it where you think it's going to get trimmed, because that's not full bleed. That's just your chances of having white slivers all the way around your thing for when mechanical trim doesn't happen where you think it's going to happen.
You got to have coverage. You got to have coverage of that
space.
Sure,
full bleed means full part of the bleed.
Yeah.
Right.
It means run it off the canvas.
But also, you don't put important stuff right to the edge, because you never know what's going to get chopped off.
No.
So that's
Tommy and I had a discussion about some of that this past week, and ultimately, correct me, Tommy, if you don't think I'm right, or if you disagree with me. Ultimately, I said, it's not that important. Let it go.
Well, once I get permission, see, we do everything that there's a message center going. So we have like a paper trail, right? If somebody says run it with the blanks in it, where pages are just blank and they just don't want to put something there, I'm going to run it. I don't, I gave you the option of putting a pin up or something,
or taking a page out of Cray and putting it in there.
What?
Taking one of Roland's pages out of Cray and
right,
get it in there. But once you tell me to run it and you're okay with something getting trimmed, well, it's just going to get trimmed. I told you.
You did. You did. Yep. And I've been warned, but also, this is one of I had to make the decision. Is okay. Well, you know what? The way
to fix that, I mean, it's just a page number, but to fix it, you're gonna have to squeeze everything and get it to
And I'm just like, fine. It's not worth my time. It's just a page number. If they see, part of the number at the bottom of the page, I'm okay with that.
And it wasn't every page either, so it doesn't matter. Yeah. I just wanted you to, we always try to make sure people are aware.
I've told you, I appreciate you doing that.
Yeah, because
so I'm going to get a.
Technically, we're that's not what we're getting paid for. Because when you click that submit button, it says, you have sent print ready files. So I should just open your files and print them.
Exactly.
But being the fact that I don't want to have to fight with you and PayPal when you want a refund.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get a book that says page sev.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
It might print just fine. And that's the thing with the printing the full bleed thing. If you stop at the trim line and it's a mechanical thing, if the mechanical process shifts, if it prints where or cuts where it's supposed to, then you'll be fine. Okay. If it decides to mechanically, it's like your brakes in your car, or it's like getting a haircut. You go and say, I want the same haircut. Does your hair look the same every time you go, even though you say you want the same haircut? No, It's a mechanical thing. It slides around a little bit.
Right.
So
Tom page says after page C.
That's right. Page 5.
It's a low fi though, not a high fi.
It's a 2, and it's just a little arc part of the 2, a little top part.
Yeah, just the happy hat part.
Yeah.
All right. We got time for one more. All right, let's get to. I got one more in here. Here's I don't know how good it is, but it's something that bothers me, and we've mentioned it before.
Is it airplane food?
It is not airplane food.
Okay.
You know what I hate about airplane food?
I don't think they serve food on airplanes anymore. Yeah.
You can buy stuff from their sandwich cart, but it's not really. It's not really food.
I sneak my own water in, so. Actually, you can buy water once you pass the checkpoint. Yeah. No, my problem is, or this grinds my gears, is when I'm reading a comic and they change scenes, they shift scenes, and they don't tell me. right? I go from I'm reading, and they're doing something, and I turn a page, and then I'm like, wait, now what's going on? I don't understand.
Yeah, because you think it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Somewhere,
it's because some bozo writer decided not to put a little caption box that says, "Meanwhile, across the street," or 3 days later.
Or the art, and then the artist can really draw a lot of different faces too much, and then the color maybe didn't change the background color, and it just looks like the same scene continuing on.
And you're reading and you're confused. You're like, I don't understand what did these people
that happens a lot
do? Yeah.
So you want that Law and Order caption where it just says Manhattan Courthouse, September 5th, 2024.
I mean, how brilliant is that? Are you ever confused on Law and Order where you are?
No.
Because
you're never confused. Yes. Yeah, you're never confused. You always know where you are.
Well, what about a page where the scene ends at the bottom of a panel, and the coloring is completely different? It's a nighttime scene with different characters, and then you turn the page, and now it's a daytime scene with completely different characters. Now, you still have trouble following that, or do you?
Yeah, well, I want to know where I'm
confused.
at. I want to know where I'm at.
Did they sleep there?
Right.
That's the same.
How did we get from the nighttime scene to the daylight scene? I can get that it was nighttime and now it's daytime. I get that.
So let me ask you this:
where are they?
When you saw the movie Castaway, and Tom Hanks is on the raft, and he's got the David Letterman beard, and he's sort of all passed out, and you see the Russian cargo ship pass by, and you see him, and
so long ago. Okay,
and you see, and then you see Tom Hanks raise his hand like, oh, and then you hear a bunch of bells and whistles from the cargo ship as they see him. Then they stop, and they cut to Tom Hanks is now all dressed up, and he's on land, and he's at a party for the FedEx because he's been rescued from the island or whatever. Do you actually need to see Tom Hanks get picked up by the boat to understand that he got rescued?
No.
Okay.
Because he had his beard too.
Right. Okay.
But that was a clear thing, right? I saw the boat.
Right.
I saw him go, hey, pick me up, right?
Right.
Now, am I curious to know what happened to him? Yeah, a little bit. How did he get from there to there? But I don't have to know it.
Well,
right?
I have a question about that
but
movie.
also though, one of the things you're mentioning, Tom, is that it has sounds that we don't get in comics, right? So we can't get the foghorn from the ship or that kind of. So our sounds are literally words on the paper, right? So yeah. So I think film has a little bit of an advantage there in that they do have actual audio, and our audio is our generated by our letter.
So in comics, you would need the caption, and then Tom Hanks got rescued and he shaved. that would tell you where he was. But yet he still misses the volleyball.
3 weeks later, and then
3 weeks later. See, that's enough. 3 weeks later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, I wanted to ask y'all about that movie real quick.
And that's something a lot of people, when I say this, a lot of people say, well, we don't need a big paragraph. No, we don't need a big paragraph. I just need a couple of words that tells me, hey, this is 3 days later or 20 minutes later. Or, as SpongeBob says, 10 days later.
10 minutes later. I love that. That's so
isn't that the captain that says that?
No, some French guy.
I don't know who the voice is.
Yeah.
I like
2 hours later.
Is Roberta trying to hide behind her name?
No, I'm not trying to. I didn't. I set up too quickly, so it's too high.
We are glad you're here, Roberta. That is the main thing.
So even
if we just see this much of
we didn't see this much. Sorry.
In that movie, Wilson the volleyball is played by a female volleyball because they couldn't get a good volleyball actor. So I knew that's what you're going to ask.
No. My question was because it was a FedEx thing. Remember?
Yeah.
I think in my mind, because he didn't want to open those boxes. You remember he brought some of the boxes back unopened because he was going to deliver them. I'm going to bet there was a sat phone in one of those boxes that was supposed to be delivered to somebody.
And
he didn't open it, so he got stuck on that island, and he could have got off of there like that.
No,
You know what else I'm going to bet, Tommy?
Because I would have opened every one of those packages.
Oh, I would have. Yeah.
Candy bars or something.
But you know what else I bet was on there? A missing Kablam package.
Oh, probably.
No, because it on the shipping manifest, it would have to say what was inside the box.
Yeah, but he would have had to have seen it, though.
I think
it's not like he saw because you remember, wasn't he just tagging along on that flight to start off with? So it's not like really he had anything to do with the flight. So he wouldn't have known what was being delivered or.
It's been forever since I've seen that.
The label on the box would say what was inside.
Would it?
It still doesn't fix the fact it's not a very good movie.
Say the weight.
I'm sorry. I'm going to be the one who says it. I'm sorry. I was sorry I watched it.
I didn't care too much for it either. And I like Tom Hanks.
I like it sucked. I don't like that movie.
I don't care about.
Sorry.
Didn't the volleyball make you cry?
No, I would rather watch reruns of Bosom Buddies other than watching Castaway again.
Why?
I'm sorry.
Did you also want to leave Matt Damon on Mars?
No,
Yeah.
not really.
That one's good.
That book was good, and I listened to somebody read that book to me.
Yeah. I've started recently watching Soap. Y'all remember that one?
Billy Crystal show.
Yeah.
Show?
I never watched that one because it was, I was in high school and I didn't have
That
time
seems like
to watch it.
That's like your sense of humor kind of thing. It seems
Less like, or it is?
No, it is.
Well, so far I've only watched 2 episodes, so far I've enjoyed it.
I like Soap.
Yeah.
So the best part, the two things are the actor who plays Benson, Robert Guillaume.
Yes.
He gets a lot of great lines.
Yes.
And then there's as the season. Have you ever seen it?
Me?
Yeah. Before
Benson or
no? Have you ever seen the show Soap before?
Yeah, I've seen 2 episodes now.
Oh well, they're in
I
later.
knew
episodes,
about it, but I just never saw it.
So in later episodes, there's the one where Bert. There's a long running thread where Bert thinks he can become invisible whenever he gets stressed out, and nobody can see him, even though he's clearly right there.
Okay.
It's fantastic.
I just remember as a kid watching it, going, "Yeah, this is humor that's above my pay grade." This kind of thing.
Well, you know what? The thing about it is, again, I knew what it was. It was just I was in high school. My parents didn't watch it, so I just never saw it. It was just never on my radar. But I always knew what it was. It's just I never saw it, and I found it flipping the other day. I'm like, oh, I think I'll watch this. I've heard good things about it, so. I've seen 2 episodes now.
I watched it in high school because the girl I was interested in thought it was a great show, and I thought,
no, I'm going to work on that.
There you go.
We have something to talk about.
That's how I discover all my pop culture.
Did it work?
Oh no, not at all. It never works.
Oh,
right. Agent Cub said, "Bite your tongue, Mike. That movie was awesome."
Oh,
that's okay, Agent Cub. I liked it too.
Hey, it's one man's
all right.
opinion.
I like how they filmed it. I thought it was cool that he gained all that weight and lost all the weight, and it took off the 3 or 4 or 5 months to do the weight training thing. I thought that was kind of
yeah.
You don't have that in comics.
But that's me wanting to know how things are made. So
we didn't get through my list, but we got through enough of it. So so that was fun.
You can yell out the last one real quick.
No, why?
All right.
Why?
Save it for another time.
Yeah, let's save it for another time.
So we can make fun of you.
No. Who's got shows coming up?
We got one in a couple weeks. 2 weeks? 3 weeks? 2 weeks.
You're doing some kind of Halloween.
26th. MallCon.
Yes.
Horror MallCon.
MallCon. Halloween Fest in Leesburg Mall. That's right. And that's exactly 2 weeks from today. Exactly 2 weeks. No shows, Mike? Roberta?
No
Tommy?
shows. No.
Wait, so in 2 weeks, does that mean me, Mike, and Roberta are going to host?
No. We'll be. It's just.
No, it's just around the corner. I'll be able to get home.
It's about halfway in between me and Tommy, actually.
Okay.
If we don't make it home, it's because we decided to eat too long after it was over and didn't make it.
Well,
back
no,
home.
because we'll be watching our watches. We gotta go. We gotta get back for the stream. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's in 2 weeks. That's Halloween Fest at MallCon. So you guys,
our buddy Carrie Bivens will be on. Roland and my buddy.
Carrie
Y'all don't know.
So there's gonna be several of us.
He won't be on the show.
Javier will
He'll
be there.
He'll be at the con.
At the con.
Yeah. staying
On
with me that night.
Tuesday, what is grimdark and how to make it? A panel of comic professional creators discuss what is the grimdark genre and its roots in horror, epics, and fantasy. I'll have to tune in because I have no idea what grimdark is.
Well, it's not your kind of material.
That's why.
Probably not. Yes.
I bet it's probably kind of dark and grim.
Dark and grim. On Wednesday, they're going to have John Jackson Miller back on Wednesday. He's going to talk about the comic industry and his new Batman novel. Tom, they'd probably love to have you join them if you're available.
He's written a ton of great stuff. He has a Star Trek Strange New Worlds novel. He's written Star Wars novels. He's written all licensed stuff.
And you know, he picked up the baton where when Dave stopped with the numbers, you know, he picked up the baton and started doing a lot of that.
Well, he's got comic book circulation figures going back to the 60s on his website.
Isn't that crazy?
I think it's awesome.
I do too. I love it.
Somebody should do it. And also, he is a major television trivia geek. Like, he knows. When I have a question, I go right to him, and it's like, okay, who was in my memory is X, and he goes, no, what you're thinking of is this. And so
really,
he knows everything.
Wow, super nice guy as well.
Yeah.
Oh, robot.
Robot taken over by AI.
You were in the middle of saying something.
Cylon.
They're striking back at him.
We're going to call him Elon Man.
Is that me, Robot, or Tom?
You.
No, it was you, Roland.
Y'all are not here.
You're glitching. I can see you glitching.
Okay.
Right. You're obviously hungry.
Like the rest of us.
Get a Snickers.
Next Sunday, I'm hoping if this is coming through, we're gonna get Kelly Jones and Matt Wagner. Matt and Kelly joined the Sunday crew to talk about their new book, Dracula. This is not the new one. This is book 2.
That's right.
Book 2.
That's the daughters.
That's the brides, yeah.
The brides, yeah.
And book 3 is the one that they're crowdfunding now.
Yeah.
So
the Count.
Yeah. So you can see I've got it. I haven't even popped the plastic open on it. Yeah.
What a collector you are.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to though.
Are you waiting for a second one?
He's eating dinner off of it. So he's keeping it clean.
I'm waiting for my reader's copy.
Yeah. So he can mark it all up and send it.
Yeah, get my red pen out.
That's it. Why'd you have this balloon here?
You misspelled this word.
This comma is in the wrong place. You're using the wrong
all right.
I.
Anything else, y'all?
I don't think so.
I got nothing.
Nope.
All right. What? I gotta find the buttons here. Okay. Remember to make mine Silverline.
Look, I can show stuff that's not gonna glitch out all over.
Hi, I'm Dave Dorman. Make mine Silverline.
Hey.